Some really interesting takeaways to unpack there. Just with regards to what you're expecting moving forward, I wanted to ask you about the recovery that we're seeing now around the region.
I think the business environment obviously is recovering. As you know, there are patches, right? The Asian markets have recovered much quicker. If you look at markets like China, Thailand, Singapore, they are recovering faster. The markets in Europe are still struggling. I think Middle East is somewhere in between. We expect the GDP in GCC markets to grow by around 3% this year. It will still grow.
We know that regulators are keeping up with the pace, with entities such as the Central Bank in Bahrain and their regulatory sandbox, or even Abu Dhabi's ADGM, who just announced a framework to regulate open banking. So the change is coming, and we know that.
Banks are as a manufacturer of financial products and platforms as distributor of financial products, and reconfiguring the relationship in a way that the ownership is not necessary by banks. And if you look at what's happening in the world, now you have trends towards the platformization of banking that is led by regulators. This is the example, for instance, of the UK, the European Union, to some extent of Singapore.
There's a concept which is very, very revolutionary called it DevOps. So both development, testing, and deployment is done by one team. And people like business translators or system translators who actually work between the business and the systems team are becoming increasingly important. So there are technology people who understand the business, and there are business people who understand the technology, and they work together towards a common purpose. And I think the interplay of the industry, the consumer, and the regulator will get us to a much better place. And as I keep saying, there's never been a better time for retail or consumer banking. This is the perfect time to get to a place which is a win-win for everybody. And I think exciting times are ahead of us.
I think banking is going to be much more smoother and a good experience for the customers, and the prices for the banking needs is significantly going to go down with the technology adoption into the financial services.
I think the analytics platforms and combining data analytics capabilities, decision management is the key trends. And I also see that the artificial intelligence projects are targeting more result-based, and people would like to see more fast results instead of long development projects. So more commercial focus, existing data, and more business IT and technology team collaboration.
I've noticed IT departments becoming more centric and adopting to the never-ending requirement of their business users. We have seen it in the increased interest in the virtual desktop infrastructure solutions and understanding the necessity of the workforce transformation.
Zero trust is one of the techniques is that or the customer is now trying to adapt it to be able to secure the application and data even if they got compromised, because again it will happen. The challenge for me and what I want to achieve is to make sure my data and my application are not compromised even if I'm having an attack or a malware within my environment. So this will need a different way of looking to cybersecurity and security in general.
We cannot live in isolated islands anymore. We cannot say that the security standard or the security strategy is totally isolated and totally separated than the business strategy. For example, if the business is looking forward to build the cloud solutions or use some of the new technologies like AI or blockchain or something like that in the next 2 or 3 years, so the security strategy must be built as per these initiatives.
Safety and resilience, particularly with emerging risks like information security and cybersecurity, is of a paramount impact. And across countries, we have different strategies, starting from a regulator perspective towards the cloud technology.
You need to explain to the entire organization, what does it mean security? What does it mean information security? What does it mean physical security? You need to embed this learning into the entire organization. All the staff, all the workers, everything have to understand.
AI is very important topic, and I think it will be very, very helpful nowadays and in the future, especially when it comes to zero-day attacks that are not known, where the AI itself analyzes the behavior of the attack and then take preventative measures within this regard.